to another video, and today we are going to be doing another OMG Mondays video. So today I am just going to be kind of continuing on with the posts that I saved last week that I didn't get to read because my phone was dying. So this is kind of going to be a continuation. I did add one more story though, but this is just going to be a continuation of all the stories that I had saved but wasn't able to read. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get started. So, let's see. Alright, this is actually the new one that I picked out, and I wanted to, do this one. So, this one reads, "Am I the a-hole for telling my son it's absurd that he thinks we'll be at his wedding?" Alright, so let's read and see what she says. Alright, make this clear. We didn't think it would be in France since he changed his wedding ideas so many times. Also, we thought it would be a 2024 fall. January came out of nowhere. Alright, so there's some grammar errors here. So this is about my oldest. He was always wanted to travel around the world, and he just told us that he will have his wedding in France. We thought he was joking when it first happened because he said so many destinations at this point. I also thought it would be a year at least, but the invites came today. It is in 4 months in France. He is looking to do a mini trip and apparently was able to book a small church in France for the whole thing. I told him it's absurd that he thinks we would be able to go. I don't have the PTO. I already used most of it this year. Our youngest are in school. We don't have the money to have 5 wife and 3 minor kids before to have 5 people take plane trips to France, and I don't think my wife even has a passport. We got in a huge argument about it, so I want to know if we are being jerks on this. So, first answer, no, obviously not. Like, destination weddings are really, like, the only destination weddings I know of are, like, they have, like, people would have family weddings in Mexico and in the US because for a lot of people they have family in Mexico and in the US. So there are people who are able to, like, do, destination weddings like that. And going to Mexico, like, a lot of the time is probably, like, cheaper or, like, not as expensive because maybe it's, like, on someone's ranch or something. But going to France is, like, really expensive, and, like, and obviously, yeah, you don't have, like, the resources to have to go, and I feel like, the son should keep the traveling for the honeymoon. Like, if you want to go to France during the honeymoon, and keep the wedding close, or close enough to people who will have to travel out of the country and need to get a passport. So, let me tell you guys a little bit of something. Especially in California, I don't know if this is true in a lot of other places, getting a passport is extremely hard for some reason. So, I got my passport back in 2021, because my parents were planning to go to Mexico. And obviously, we did go to Mexico, but we were planning on doing it in 2022, but we just never did it. But we went to Mexico in 2023. But I've heard stories, like, people have, like, my mom's told me, like, oh, there are people that have come all the way from, like, SoCal or up, like, farther up north, like, hours and hours away, just to come to, like, we were thankful enough to have a place that did passports, and, like, they had so few appointments, and, like, people would stand out there for hours and, like, get into huge arguments about, like, oh, I was in line first, and all that. So, like, it's really difficult to get a passport and all this, and just like immigration and out of country travel, especially for the US, is extremely hard. I feel like I have some ideas of why, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know if this, wherever this person lives, like, but a passport, like, even expedited shipping of the passport will take a good while, and saying that this will be like 4 months out, yeah, that's not gonna happen, because like international travel is going to take a lot of planning. So yeah, definitely not the a-hole here. Like, if the son wants to travel, do it for the honeymoon and keep the wedding in the home country. So yeah, that's all I have to say for that one. But yeah, pretty easy, I would say. Like, yeah, the son definitely needs to get a little bit of a reality check. And I did see one like comment and said, not the a-hole, whoever wants a destination wedding should be prepared that loved ones can't attend. Getting time off, finding accommodations, getting paperwork done, and being able to afford it are no small obstacles. And then someone said, in my opinion, destination weddings are for the ultra wealthy only. Anyone else is just backdoor excluding people, consciously or not. And yeah, so I would definitely say, yeah, definitely that destination weddings are very exclusionary for a lot of people. But yeah. Alright. Actually, no, I did 2 new ones. I only had like 1 left, so I'll do the other new one, and I'll do the one I had planned for last week. Alright, this one is a long one. And this one reads, am I the a-hole for calling my mom out for not being fully honest about the reason she wants her husband to walk me down the aisle at my wedding? Alright, so let's get to reading. So, my wedding is coming up, and my mom has been campaigning hard for her husband, my stepdad, to be the person to walk me down the aisle. I already asked my paternal grandparents. My mom knew I was going to ask them and knew when I had, but she has not given up on the desire for me to ask her husband. The other day, she told me that it would have been made the most sense, and she feels like he is the correct and most worthy person to walk me down the aisle. I called her out on that and said she should be more honest about why she wants him. The reason I know is because she knows her husband and my dad hated each other, and she believes I should have been loyal to her husband over my dad. It's one of those things. She especially believes I should have given all the loyalty I had to my dad to her husband after I lost my dad at the age of 7. I have some thoughts on this, so I will tell them at the end. So, background. My parents broke up, in parentheses, never married. My mom got married to her husband when I was 2. My dad and her husband hated each other. I was always aware of the fact, but it became especially bitter for me when I was 6 and my dad was diagnosed with cancer. I don't remember a lot from that time, but I do remember my mom's husband showing up to see my dad when he was in the hospital, and I remember him yelling at my dad. I know prior to that, the two were so as bad as each other, and animosity was mutual. When my dad died, I didn't automatically start to care more or feel closer to her husband. He did try, and I think part of his hatred for my dad was I was such a daddy's girl and never looked at him being in my life as having 2. I spent equal time with both my parents when dad was alive. I never got closer to my mom's husband. He was my mom's husband and my half-sibling's dad. But even though I don't remember a time where I didn't know him, I never saw him as my dad. He always hated my dad too. I heard him grumble about him over the years, even saw him spit near a photo of my dad once. Eventually, he gave up trying and decided I wasn't worth his time, which I felt was better for everyone. My mom hates it. She hates that he's just her husband, and I haven't embraced him as my dad. One time, she said it can be so hurtful to lose to a dead man, and he be rejected in favor for a dead man. I asked what she meant by that, and she told me I never picked her husband over my dad, and I would never let him feel like he won against him in one thing. Really? Alright, there's a little bit left, so I'll just read it and I'll go on a little rant. Yeah, you heard that right. When I told her he was still alive, my dad was gone, I told my mom, I think my mom still wants that win for her husband, especially when his hatred for my dad still burned strong. I believe my parental grandparents are the right people to walk me. I have been close to them in my entire life. My mom is mad that I called her out and tried to make her be honest. She said she was not lying and I was being rude. Am I the a-hole? Why are you fighting against someone who's already dead? I don't know where this hatred stemmed from, but why are you so jealous of someone who's dead already? Do you not understand that even kids who are so young and have a parent who passes, they will probably never ever find someone who is as close as them because they have that bond. And she was a daddy's girl, and even though she was I think 6 when she passed away, it is extremely terrible. And for her to say, oh, why won't you let my husband win against your dad? You'll never let my husband win. And I'm like, win? What are you winning? The reason why she will never see your new husband as her dad is because of how much your husband hates her dad. I don't know, like I said, I don't know where this hatred came from, but obviously this hatred was not helpful into being able to love your stepdaughter. And obviously this girl also holds hate for that husband, I feel because his husband is a huge jerk. And for the mom to say, oh, he didn't get to win, why didn't you? Why did he lose to a dead man? It's what did he lose? The previous husband is dead, and he's alive, what the OP said. I've heard other stories on other podcasts before of people who had such huge hatred for a loved one that passed. I see this a lot, especially in parents of parents who's had one parent deceased and one parent who lives, and then the other parent has gotten a step person. I will say this, if one of my parents did pass away, my parents have been around, together for 25 years at this point, almost 26. They got married in 1997, and they got married at 17, and they've been together for so long. I don't believe they're gonna get divorced, but if one of them passes, I feel I'm gonna be kind of the same way. And I don't even think they're gonna try to find someone. And if one of them did try to find someone really quickly, I think I would be extremely upset. Because once was. But just like, yeah, don't expect your children to think of their new parents as their original parents, or give them as much compassion. Like, obviously you can like respect them, but that respect has to be earned, and obviously this husband has not earned the daughter's respect. So yeah. And just let me know, you guys, if you have like any opinions on any of these, if you guys have any like personal experiences, because I would love to hear them. Alrighty, time for the final story. Alright, this one is actually from True Off My Chest. So, my stepbrother tried to play a prank on my mom and I accidentally assaulted him. Assaulted is in quotes. And now my mom says she can't look at me the same. So, 2 days ago, I went out with my mom, my dad, my stepdad, and my stepbrother to celebrate something I'd won. My parents have been divorced for a decade, and my stepdad and my stepbrother have been around for 6 years. Both my stepbrother and I are minors, but he's bigger than me since he and my stepdad are gym rats. But I'm not a sporty girl, never have done martial arts, and I have no muscle. But I have very good balance and a bunch of male friends. Last year, things got messy here in my city, and my friends tried to teach me and my girlfriends a move or two to bind a guy down. My dad's home, so if you hear loud singing, that's my dad. To leave them without breath so we could run, to break a hole around our neck and waist. They also wrestle us enough so we could stand our ground long enough to execute any of this movement. Honestly, none of us paid any mind, and we only did it because it was fun. I personally never thought it worked. This kind of gives me like the plot of Bottoms. If you've ever seen that movie, I've never seen it, but I've like seen clips and stuff of it, and it like gives me very Bottoms vibes. We're like, oh, like let's make a fight club and see if like to like protect us against like bad people. So yeah. Well, guess what? We were out of the restaurant waiting for our Uber, and my stepbro got inside to use the restroom. I was banging the door, and my mom was beside me talking to my stepdad. My stepbro snuck on us, and only my dad and stepdad could see him. He booed us, and my mom screamed so awfully. She's a scaredy cat, in parentheses, that it just activated something in me, so I used my open hand to hit his throat. And I used something that my friends taught me. Don't even know what it's called. They only said they saw it in an anime. And before I could react, I had him floating with his shirt holding one of his arms. And my dad reacted at some point and also took him from his clothes so he wouldn't hit the ground. I just let him go and began apologizing. He was coughing and laughing, saying I kind of missed his throat by an inch, and that was it. My mom was quiet, while looking at me. She was holding onto my stepdad's arm, who was also laughing and congratulating me. And I felt small under his eyes. We all went home, and they asked me where I learned that, and they didn't know I was that strong, and my stepdad said it was probably the adrenaline I left. They made a few jokes, and my stepbro was rubbing his chest. My mom never said anything, and we left. Next morning, both my stepdad and my stepbro were out. My mom was sitting at the kitchen with a coffee, and said she wanted to talk. Guys, she ripped me a big one. We both ended up crying. She said she didn't know I was capable of showing so much violence towards someone, much less someone I love. I tried to explain I didn't know it was him, and that it was her scream that made me think we were in danger. She ripped me another one because I was trying to blame her. She said she couldn't look at me the same. I said she should be grateful I'm at least able to defend myself at some level, and don't have it to depend on someone. I reminded her how even scared she held my stepdad and didn't try anything. up storming out of my dad's place, and I've been here since. My stepbro texted me asking what happened because when they both arrived, she was crying, and I told them everything. He apologized for me, saying that he didn't think the prank would turn out like this. She apparently said something different to him, and my stepdad said I called her a bad mother for shielding her and not thinking of me. This is so weird. I feel so weird. What the F? So, yeah, that happened. So, I, like, especially now, a lot of people need to learn how to defend themselves. I don't. Like, I took, like, karate lessons in, like, younger, but I don't remember a single thing. And, like, especially women now, like, it's really nice that she knows how to defend herself. Like, even with just that little move, she knew how to, like, get someone, like, trying to defend herself. Like, the way she talked about her brother, she seems like he's, like, much bigger than her. And, I think this mom is just all like, oh, my little girl is not as soft and feminine as I think she is. It's just like, nothing about defending yourself is, like, I just hate that whole notion is that women defending themselves doesn't mean they can't be also soft and feminine. And it's just like, femininity and masculinity are a huge spectrum, and people need to realize that. Like, this whole, like, old notion of masculinity and femininity is so old, so tired, just needs to stop. And I feel like this mom is just being so weird because, like, obviously, like, nothing happened. The stepbrother was hurt, but just, like, especially, like, wherever they lived, like, people, like, need to learn how to defend themselves. Like, I should do that too, but just, like, yeah, like, this girl is just kind of learning how to defend herself, which is a really good thing, and, like, everyone should do that. But it's just, this mom is just being very weird. So yeah, but that is the end of all these stories. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know your guys' opinions on these stories. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow the Instagram down in the